I'm Daniel Lafuente, the Globalization Design Manager for AGS, working on Throne and Liberty.
I'm Mervly Kwai, head of third-party publishing at Amazon Games.
So you guys talk about, for people who don't know what this game is about, talk about what Throne, give us the elevator pitch for Throne and Liberty.
Sure. So Throne and Liberty is a MMORPG that's available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5 with crossplay enabled. It's free to play, and it's set in the world of Silesium, so it's a very fast world, and I want to highlight two things here. The first is a big part of it is massive scale combat. Think thousands of players participating in castle sieges, for example, or hundreds of players participating in guild versus guild battles or boss fights in the open world. And then a deep social system, so really heavily influenced by guilds and letting players accomplish things together and also getting shared rewards in those guilds, that type of thing.
Now, this game is kind of different in terms of a classic MMO where you guys have not class archetypes, but kind of weapon archetypes instead. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we have a dual weapon system, as you mentioned. Unlike traditional MMOs, which have classes, we have a dual weapon system, and it's the weapon that you're wielding that determines your skills. And you can have two weapons at a time, and you can combo any weapon with any weapon. So if you want to combo great sword with staff or staff with wand, either of them is okay. And that's just one of the ways in which you'll kind of customize your build or your playstyle. We have other progression systems in the game that let you tweak that, such as weapon mastery, and your gear itself and some of the substats within it.
Now, are you still able to, like, if you're a fan of the classic, wizard class or tank class, you still have those archetypes in the game, and how does that work?
Yeah. Again, that's going to be based on what weapons you select. So if you choose to go with the sword and shield spec, you will probably fill the more traditional tank role. If you try to play the wand class, you will fill the more traditional support or healer role. But all of them have a flair for DPS as well, and so how you pair those weapons with others allow you to still help or influence your teammates in other ways, but you still do feel those roles. You may have noticed during the demo that there was a player with you that was playing sword and shield, filling that more traditional tank role. So it's definitely possible, and it's just about which weapon combinations you pick.
You mentioned you have these big raids, much more than 40-man raids in this game, and 40-man PvP arenas are even like 50 on 50. How does that work in your game? How do you balance that? How does that even compute with that many players on screen at once doing their rotation?
Yeah, of course there are challenges to that. It's a pretty big and ambitious endeavor, and it's something that we'll probably be iterating on for a long time, right? We'll always be looking to make improvements. So the first is the castle siege, that's what I was mentioning. So this is a purely PvP experience in the sense that you're getting together with your guild and with other guilds. You're forming large alliances, you're trying to combat against other alliances, and trying to claim the throne. And the winner of that throne, of course, is going to get rewards. But then we have something, and that's thousands of players. So we've actually already seen the game is live in Korea now, and we've seen sieges that are upwards of 1,700 players, so really massive in size. And then it goes down from there, of course. We have guild versus guild conquest battles. Those are going to be more around the roughly 60 to 70 person per team type of battle. We have dynamic events that occur in the open world where a zone changes to a conflict zone, and you're, again, competing against others in this PvP nature. And I want to touch on two other things kind of to talk about this massive thing for Throne and Liberty. The first is open world bosses that are PvPvE, so this PvX concept where you're with your guild, but there's 10 other guilds, and you're all trying to down the boss, but fighting each other at the same time, having to deal with these kind of different win conditions that come with having to battle other opponents that aren't just the boss. And then we have these massive open world dungeons. So you played a demo that was one of our instance dungeons, but we also have open world dungeons. This is a great place for people who like exploring, people who like going deeper into stuff where the challenges, the mobs and the bosses get harder the further down you go. So lots of really good content, all based around this kind of massive nature of the world.
If someone's a more traditional MMO player, how easy is it for them to kind of get in and kind of get their bearings for this game?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty easy. It depends on what you like and what you want out of your game, but I believe we have something for everybody. Of course, we have a lot of deep social systems and game mechanisms at scale, but if you like exploring or you like playing by yourself, you can do those things in Throne and Liberty as well.
Now, you mentioned the game is free to play. Is there like a battle pass option, multiple currencies? Like, what's the monetization system look like?
Yeah, Throne and Liberty is a free-to-play game, and we really pride ourselves on offering personal expression. And so a lot of our business model is based around cosmetics, weapon skins, armor skins, and we believe in free and fair monetization. So we don't gate any content with any sort of payment. We do offer a battle pass, and we have a leveling pass as well.
If someone cares for a more solo experience, are they able to do that, or is this more of a social game?
Yeah, there's plenty of things that you can do solo as well, whether that's just, hey, you want to break from some of the more intense group play combat, or if you're just a solo type of player, there's the exploration side that I mentioned. There's story questing that you can do, lots of side quests as well, which each have their own kind of mini stories built into that. We have some solo dungeons, actually, which are pretty interesting. It's this imagine you're going through floors of challenges, and each floor is its own solo boss, where the boss also has unique mechanics, not just DPS checks, which makes it really fun. Puzzles that you have to complete to kill the boss, stuff like that. Some time trial challenges, so really a plethora of content that's available for players.
You mentioned your title here. Like, what is that? Can you elaborate on your title? That's an interesting title.
Yeah, title of third-party publishing. Yeah, basically, we consider third-party as games that are made by external developers that Amazon Games brings to the rest of the world. And so I'm focused on any of our titles that fall into that criteria.
Do you guys have to worry about localization? Do you have another team for that? Like, how difficult is that? Because there's a lot of information in a game like this, and having to get it in all different languages and all different regions has got to be a daunting task.
Absolutely, and it's not just localization in the sense of traditional translation, although that is a component. But it's also making sure that the game is globally adaptable, visually, is inclusive, is accessible, and these are all qualities of globalization. So I like to look at it, I title it as globalization, not just localization, because there's content reviews and making sure the game is appropriate and hits the marks and the quality bars that we're looking for.
You guys mentioned the game is crossplay on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Cross progression?
It's just crossplay for now. And it's really great to see PlayStation players playing with PC players in these huge at-scale atmospheres. It's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on. So if you have friends that play on a console, that you can join them in Throne and Liberty.
A controller interface on an MMO has got to be another daunting task. Can you talk a little about that process, making it feel right and tight?
Yeah, and it's been a very iterative process for us. And I think it starts first with the philosophy of console at parity with PC. So console hasn't been like a secondary thought. It's always when we add a new system or we add a feature to the game, how does this work on PC? How does this work on console? It's pretty challenging in some situations with Throne and Liberty because of the massive numbers of players and targeting and how your abilities map to the controller. But we've gone through many cycles, many user focus groups and feedback rounds about how to improve that. And we've seen in recent testing rounds in our closed beta test that players are really warming up to the console experience and how to use the controller to play TL. We even see PC users using controller to play.
My last question for you is, when does the game come out, and are you releasing simultaneously on all three platforms?
Yeah, so we have an open beta that's taking place on July 18th through the 23rd, so it's about 5 days. That will be on all three platforms in North America, EU, South America, and Japan. Those same regions will be available for the full launch, again, on all three platforms on September 17th.
And in the meantime, where can they go to for more information about your game? Website, Discord, Steam page?
Yeah, you should go to playthroneandliberty.com. That's where we're going to have all of our news articles. You can find all of our socials there as well that you can link to directly from that website.